Thursday evening, weather for Weather Geeks time. Let's get right to it this evening. We've got a lot to talk about as we head into the weekend. Today was kind of a gloomy day, kind of typical of early spring around here. We have a lot of days in early spring that are like today, where it's kind of chilly and damp and it tries to rain a little bit. Before we get to today's weather, let's continue talking about severe weather. It's Severe Weather Awareness Week in the state of Ohio, so we've been talking about all aspects of severe weather this week: safety, some factoids, and we've also been talking about some misconceptions and some myths, and I want to focus on tornado myths this evening. These are a few of the more common ones that are out there. One of them is, hey, you should crack your windows in your home to equalize the pressure between the air inside and air outside. There's no difference in the air in your house and outside your house. You're just letting the wind in if you choose to do that. It's not a good idea if we're having a severe thunderstorm and one that may be producing a tornado to open up the windows. Not a good idea at all. Another fairly common myth is, well, tornadoes don't come to certain locations because of natural barriers, whether it be a river or a hill or a city, things like that. And the truth of the matter is, around here we have no natural barriers to block tornadoes. You know, it's a little different out in the west in, like, say, Colorado or near the Rockies. Tornadoes certainly don't like to climb over 12,000-foot mountains, but little bumps and little hills like we have around here, tornadoes don't care about that. They don't care about cities. Tornadoes are no less likely or more likely in downtown Youngstown than they are in any other spot across our area. We haven't had a tornado in a major city around here for a while, but we have had tornadoes in major cities in recent years. Miami, there was one in the Dallas area not long ago, I think back in the early 2000s. So it happens. So again, that's just sort of one of those things that don't believe that a tornado is not going to cross the river or come over the hill or anything like that. Around here we have no such barriers. Another one that a lot of people believe is that you should go to the southwest corner of your home in a tornado warning, and that's not true either. Any interior room is good, and even better, of course, a basement, anywhere away from windows. Doesn't matter what corner of the house it is. Put as many walls between you and the outside of your house as possible. And, of course, the lowest level is the way to go. All right, back here. Today was a damp day, but we had no snow today. It was a year ago today that we had a pretty good dumping of snow, kind of our last major snow system of last winter. We had some snow into April, but nothing of this magnitude. 5.2 inches of snow all in one day on this date 1 year ago. And last winter ended up being a pretty snowy winter compared to the average. This year, not so much. You know, a little bit of a misperception perhaps out there. But this has been a pretty tough winter for snow. Actually, we haven't had that much at all. 73.5 was our total through today's date last year, and this winter we're only at 44.1 inches worth of snow. That's way below last year, way below average. If we didn't see another flake of snow, this would be the least snowy winter we've had since the winter of 2001, 2002. I think we're going to add to this total a little bit tomorrow, under an inch, but I could see where we had a few tenths of an inch to the total. If we get up to, I think the number's 44.7, that would put us on par with the winter of 2015-16, which was also relatively weak in the snow department. All right, we've had a little bit of pesky rain and drizzle off and on throughout the day today, and one lonely batch of this still moving through when I recorded this video at about 7 p.m. This will all be replaced by snow showers tomorrow as an Arctic front moves through. There'll be flurries, there'll be snow showers, it'll look like a snow globe at times outside. Some of these could be pretty substantial. Reduced visibility could be an issue if you're doing some traveling around the region, but at this time of the year, if it's snowing during the day, and especially if temperatures are above freezing, it's really hard for it to stick on paved surfaces. So we're not expecting many impacts on the roads tomorrow, but reduced visibility, and maybe your car, your windshield, your deck, your grass gets the occasional coating during the course of the day tomorrow. Here's our hourly snow chances for your Friday. Highest mid to late morning into the first part of the afternoon, then starting to lower as we go towards the second half of the afternoon. Now, there could be some small accumulations, again, especially on the grass. Up in the snow belt, you know, some of the really highest areas in Geauga County, and especially in the higher terrain just south of I-90 in northwest PA, just south and southeast of Erie and up towards Jamestown, New York. Yeah, someone could see a couple of inches on the grass up there. But even up there, I wouldn't expect many problems on the roads. In addition to the snow, the wind and the cold going to be a story for your Friday, with wind chills in the 20s in the afternoon, dipping into the teens as we go into Friday evening. Thankfully, better things are ahead for the weekend as high pressure drifts across. I do think we'll see some residual clouds early Saturday, but these will clear out pretty quickly, and I expect a pretty sunny second half of the day on Saturday. And as high pressure drifts overhead, a clear sky, lighter winds Saturday night means pretty cold night. But then we'll see a veil of high clouds coming in on Sunday. Kind of a milky sky, but overall this is easily the better of the 2 weekend days because it will be dry and it will be warmer in the afternoon. We'll make our way into the mid-50s. So here's a look at the weekend forecast. We are looking at 40. That's it on Saturday, despite that afternoon sun, and then 54 degrees coming up on Sunday. All right, the forecast for early next week has not changed much. A chilly rain still seems pretty likely as we go into Monday, maybe a few wet snowflakes as well. And it looks pretty cold on Tuesday. And then the second half of next week should feature a warming trend. Here's the air mass that's coming down over the next 24 to 36 hours, cold air mass. It gets whisked away, a better day Sunday. Then here's the early week colder air mass sliding in. Again, the colder temperatures depicted by the purples and greens on our model here. That will last a couple of days. I think the second half of next week is looking pretty good. I'm expecting pretty nice weather Wednesday and Thursday. Maybe some wet weather at the end of next week, but a pretty mild 3-day stretch Wednesday through Friday of next week. Now, by next weekend, here's next Saturday and next Sunday, another relatively coolish air mass may slide in. I wouldn't expect it to be as cold as it will be tomorrow, but cooler than average. Of course, our averages are rising pretty quickly at this time of the year. So a cooler than average day by the last day of March and the first day of April is, highs near 50. That's a cool day in a couple of weeks, or even less than a couple of weeks. As we go into the longer range, not much in the way of notable things going on the modeling. Some fairly typical springtime back and forth as we go into the month of April. Here's the NOAA April outlook. They put out today their first stab at the April forecast, showing decent odds of a warmer than average month in our area. The cooler weather probably centered in the middle of the country. As far as wet weather goes, equal chances of a drier than average month and a wetter than average month here locally. That's what EC stands for. I don't have any qualms with this forecast at this point. It kind of jives with our spring forecast that we did at the beginning of March, showing kind of favor above average temperatures for the spring as a whole, even though, of course, there will be the occasional chilly day. One thing we're going to have to watch out for this spring, not here, but across the middle of the country, you've seen all these stories about the tremendous flooding this week in Nebraska, Iowa, parts of Missouri. Could still be a pretty wet spring, and there's a lot of snow still yet to melt up here that's going to drain into these rivers. And this could be a really bad spring for flooding, I think, across parts of the Plain States and the Midwest as well. Not as concerned about that around here. That's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks for watching. Have a great Thursday night, and I'll see you back here on Friday.